Welcome gamers to the start of this actual series now, the gameplay series of Galactic Civilizations for Supernova. I've done a video before this one just going through the scope of the game. We're going to be treating this very much as like an immersive role-play board game. That's the mindset we're going in with. I've explained this why in the previous video. Also, before I do get started, I do want to thank Stardock for sponsoring this series. So thanks for that. And also for you guys to be aware that this is sponsored content. So just getting that out there right up front. In the last episode, we went through what all the different game mechanics are in a very superficial way. We'll now just start to sort of ease our way through a basic game of Gal Civ 4 Supernova. So let's just go in and create a new game. Now I'm just going to go back and set the defaults. You actually set the default from this screen. So I'll reset the defaults just so we've got it all in there. We'll now go back. And this is one thing I didn't get to show in the last episode. And this is actually very, very unique. It's called AlienGPT, which is sort of like a language model where what Stardock have done is they've actually got like a unique GPT aspect of creating your own faction. I'll go through it. I'll just work our way through it, and we'll sort of play with an actual faction. So we'll go to the available civilizations in through here. Now, the thing with this I'm thinking will get some work over time. So don't feel that you're sort of constrained with what you're seeing through here. I think this will be different as the game progresses. There's a few things that are missing from it, so there's some limitations. I'll try to explain what they actually are as we go through. The big one is that there's no citizens that sort of then attach to whatever group that you actually have. So we've got to sort of choose our citizens from the existing pool of citizens. And I'm assuming once the modding actually opens up in the game, again, this is early access. This is version 1.7 of the game. It will be launched soonish, like as in a few more months' time. But it also, at that stage, will then start to have workshop support, mod support, things like this. And so I'm assuming at that stage we'll start to see other civilization groups come in. I don't know if AlienGPT will ultimately generate its own civilians. I'm not sure about what's going to happen with that one through there. So the way it works is we pretty much, the best way of doing this is to think about style that you want to play and then use at this point in time, use the AlienGPT to give you the flavour of how you want that style to play out. And so you've got a few different choices in through here. You've got carbon-based as your biology, aquatics, so a silicon-based and synthetic, so robots, rocks, aquatics, and then like the rest of us, the carbon-based. I'm going to be picking something fairly generic just so we can sort of work our way through. So when we go through, you may even sort of want to think, okay, well, I think the best starting point in your mind is to think, what citizens am I going to plug into it at this point in time? And I think I'm just going to plug humans in. So let's just go play as a humanoid or human style faction, but we'll play it a different way. So the biology will be carbon-based with what we actually do through there. Now the cultural affinity back in through this other side, we've got a whole lot of different cultural affinities that we can then go and choose from. So we've got, for example, totalitarianism essentially is the most evil of them. Pacifism is the nicest of them. Actually, nihilism is also fairly bad as well in this sort of sense. So believes in the rejection or denial of inherent meaning of value of life. Causing pain to others is a valid purpose. So this is very much like an insectoid sort of style of playthrough. Collectivism in through here believes in prioritising the group, community or society over individual interests, often with a focus on shared responsibility. I wonder if we shouldn't actually look at some of the other factions, because the factions that come with the game are fully fleshed out in this sort of sense. Maybe we will, just in a basic way. Let's just go back. If we have a look, for example, at this is the basic humans, which is the Terran Alliance, and so their cultural focus is individualism. And so they're also carbon-based. So they've got individualism. If we go down to the only other real human group, there's another humanoid group in through here, which is the GALACTIC, which is very much like the Orion pirates from Star Trek. And these are nihilists. So these actually they don't have any value of life at all. So fairly evil, and these are crime lords. So they've got like a different way of sort of playing. Again, the uniqueness within the game, within the factions, is brilliant. There's a few factions at the moment that still haven't been unlocked, but most of them at this point in time in 1.7 have been fleshed out. We still are waiting on the all-important Krath Legion, Korath clan. These are awesome. I love these guys. These are my favourite faction in the last few versions of the game. I absolutely love them. And we've also got another one down through here as well. This is the Seeing. You can sort of see again, this is carbon-based, but the collectivism. So it believes in prioritising the group. We also have another one through here as well, which is sort of like some sort of like slug with eyes. This is a nihilist as well, carbon-based, adaptable, radiated. These all have massive bearing on the way that the game does play out. And these are the style of citizens that they actually have. In through here, the only other real human one is this one in through this side. And these are like a fragmented group. This is the Terran Resistance. And so these believe in individualism. That's the same, I think, as the other humans. Yeah, they're individualism as well. These are Voyagers and Inspired, so they have extra range for their ships, and the additional leader is available for recruitment, and leaders cost 25% less to recruit, whereas these guys have got their abilities are slightly different. These ones are more resourceful, so starts with some useful resources, and unrelenting, so plus 10 control. Planets generate plus 1 more influence per month. So these are very, very powerful. This is actually, at this point in time, this is my favourite faction to play in the game. But let's go and build our own group of humans that aren't quite there. So this is the humans in through this other side. So humans are known for their flexibility and productivity. They have lower expectations than other species. And so in this case, this is what the humans bring. But all of their factions, with their citizens all fleshed out, these receive an approval bonus. They're excellent traders, so the actual citizens all have different bonuses and tweaks. So it will be difficult ultimately for the AlienGPT to be able to really tweak things appropriately. But there's, this is the synthetics back in through here. Progressivism, so advocates for social reform and new ideas. These ones here are synthetic, so they don't require food to grow. It's extremely unique. Every single faction, every single group of citizens, they all have their little quirks and foibles. These Taurians love aquatic worlds. These are aquatics. They receive a large approval bonus when they're on them. The good old Drengen, the traditional enemy. These are nihilists as well, carbon-based. These are slavers and unrelenting as well. So Drengen have a high resistance and aptitude to becoming strong. So these are sort of natively built into their citizens. We don't get to really push that unless we mod the game ultimately to be able to then go and do it. And I was hoping to do that actually. I was hoping to build the DasBots and bring them back. I think I played them in Gal Civ 3. Sort of modded a faction in for myself. It's more involved now. There's a lot more in it. But again, it's really quite interesting. Let's go back up and let's go and create a custom civilization. So this is another humanoid one as well. So this one is more about progressivism, which again has a different sort of bearing. If we have a look at progressivism, this one is advocates for social. Actually, I think these ones are normally pacifists. So advocates for social reform and new ideas. Progressives are often open to change and seek to address social inequalities and injustices through innovation and reform. Let's just go through. We'll pick carbon-based. We'll pick. Actually, before I do that one, I'll just go back out. Sorry, one more little thing. Let's have a look at them. What have they got? Most Altarians adopted a philosophy that they devoted their life to. This makes them more ideological than other species and more approving with their ideology, matches that of the Empire and the Governor, and more disapproving when it is opposite them. They can be specialised to divine empaths, so this is more empathic. I think we'll just stick with the good old humans at this point in time, so we'll just go. Yeah, these are pacifists, actually. These are definitely pacifists, so we'll just go back across. I think we might play a traditionalist human group, sort of a bit more militant. I'm thinking maybe sort of we'll inspire it a bit from almost like a Space Marine sort of style, perhaps. So tradition and worshipping the God Emperor, etc., etc. We'll see how we go. Let's just go back in. Carbon-based. So we don't want collectivism. We want traditionalism. So this philosophy values historical continuity and emphasises the importance of customs, practices and institutions that have endured over time. Traditionalists often resist rapid social change and maintain a deep reverence for cultural heritage. We could go that way. Totalitarianism, it's not really Space Marine sort of style. Let's go with traditionals. So we'll go that way and through that other side. So that's going to be the approach that we then go and take. The behaviours that we saw there before, these we can choose 2 of these. So if we just have a bit of a look, so let's just go and unselect that one and unselect cultural. A lot to choose from in here. So we've got pragmatic, so favours pragmatic ideological choices, merciless, aggressive, they tend to be looking for excuses to go to war, be careful, peaceful, cruel, expansionist, greedy, opportunistic, scientific, diplomatic, cultural, spiritual. Places increased importance on ideological choices. That sounds like fun, actually. Xenophobic sounds like fun as well, but let's go spiritual. And let's also go pragmatic as well. Favours pragmatic ideological choices. So we'll just go those 2 choices there for our particular faction. Once we've got this established, we can then sort of go across into the various abilities, etc. So we can just go across into here. These are where we choose our citizens. So this is the civilization abilities. We won't choose telepathy. There's so much to choose from, and these all intertwined into the actual, base, underneath everything in the game. Everything sort of connects with all this stuff. Got cartographer, ancient, adaptable. Well, that sort of would work for us. So we can go that way, and we also then have voyagers. We've got a whole range of them in here now as well. Nocturnal's a new one that's just come in. Radiated watchers. Craftsmen, xenophobic, warriors. That would be sort of more Space Marine sort of style. Let's go that way. The citizens, this is where we have to then go and choose the citizens that we're going to be using. So we'll just go and choose the humans. That's Altarians. That's human in through there. So we'll just click on done. And the portraits, we can actually put in custom portraits ultimately. We can't do it just yet, so you just create your own portraits and throw them in there. I was hoping to do all this for you before I started this, but the game doesn't have modding in just yet, so I won't actually go and do that one. These are the different types of ships that our commanders can have as well, and so we've got different style of ships that are available to us. Now we've got world supporting ships. These sort of are more of a collection of defensive type ships and boost the economy. Legendary ships, powerful ships ready for battle. I'm thinking we go that way. We've got expansionist ships, missile, aggressive warships, scavengers, defensive or economic ships. There's heaps of them. Monster ships. Let's go legendary. We'll just go with the legendary range of sort of ships we have. Now, these are used by the humans anyway, to be honest. Then we actually have our trait points. I'm just going to go back and ditch all of these, and we'll just go back and select these as well. And so these are the civilization traits, which just gives us a bit of a boost along with things as well. So we've got productive would give us modifies how quickly improvements are built on your planets. Let's make ourselves, what we actually have through here is we have like a, now in the original Gal Civ 4, there was only 3 choices through here. But now we actually have, like, we've got a -1 and a plus 1 plus 2. We then actually have a foolish and then foolish -2. So this is the cleverness. So it's either going to be clever or foolish. And so there's negatives we can actually pick with some of these as well. So if we go with productive, let's go with a +1 productive. Now we've got 3 points all in total we can go and choose. Militant is decreases your starting control. Actually, that should be the other way around. This one should give us plus extra starting control in through this other side. Explorers, this modifies how fast your ships actually are. With our sensor range, the explorers go out a little bit further. Fast, we get extra points. This is really quite valuable. Let's just go and grab one of those. We've got one more to choose. Veterans modifies how quickly your ships gain experience. Again, I think that for us that would be good. Like, we don't want to be too evil, but let's go with veteran. That then uses up all of our trait points. Now I can go and use some of the negative ones. What else should we grab? So this one is meek. This one is unconvincing. So this one would then sort of make us modifies your chance to use persuasion in events and diplomacy. So if we chose that one, we'd get another point back. We'd then be able to go back and grab something different. Like even sort of go to that one there. So we end up with the faster ships, but at the expense of our of being a bit more brutally honest. I think that sort of suits the style of what we're going for. And then the fleets as well. Like, so we've actually then got, so this is just picking the civilization abilities and traits. So you still have to do all this. The AlienGPT won't do that. And then the fleet style as well. So what we'll go through here is the ship styles. Again, we've got all of the different sorts of ships that are available to us. Now let's go and choose just one of the other human styles. We'll just go with the Terran Alliance. This is actually what they look like with the actual ships itself. And again, you can sort of you can have a bit of a look to see what the way it's going to then start to sort of look in space. You've got your ship colours. You can actually go and edit these as well, but let's just go with something that's going to be something fairly light, just so we can sort of see it fairly easily. The resistance. What else have we got there? God, there's so many. White inverted, that's a bit too light. Just go back to the other one. Where was it? Resistance. We'll just go that style. That looks pretty cool. And then we've got sort of like the different aspects again of the subsurface textures. We can sort of then go and add in. We can see the subsurface textures are the small textures that will then sort of appear on the actual models themselves. So the primary will be textured, orange peeled. You can see it's changing underneath there. Diamond tiles, crosshatch, armor plates. Let's go with armor plates. And secondary, we can either darken or lighten these as well, make them panels. So we're seeing different sorts. Actually, that's the primary, sorry. And then we've got non-metallic. We can make them metallic. Metallic with low reflectivity, medium reflectivity, high reflectivity. Going through this other side, chrome, which makes them fully reflective. Now that's going to then change as we change the actual order. We should then get different sorts of reflections coming back in again as well. I won't make them chrome. We've got different lighting on there as well. No modification, blown out, no metal with dim lights. I'll make it metallic with standard lights, with armor plates. We'll go with panels 4 secondary, and then we've got the other chrome areas as well. You can see how much that sort of that weakened it. Then we can have lighting on the inside. Maybe we'll go back into metallic with just medium reflectivity. It's going to make it probably a little bit dark, but I think it's going to look fairly gnarly with what we're doing. Now that's just the colony ships. Again, we can pick and choose all of this sort of stuff. And so that will be the style that we then go with. I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do here. Let's just go back to biology and build ourselves an actual civilization. So we'll write a group. So followers of the Emperor, humans on a mission. So I'm just giving it essentially ChatGPT style prompts. And so I've put everything else in here. I don't have to do anything with this other stuff. And it's going to then flesh out all of this for me. So if I just click on generate, and we may have to change our worlds as well, but we'll just have a bit of a look. So we'll just generate. So it's generating away, and what it's going to be doing is it's going to be generating a whole lot of different things. This is the Imperial Ascendancy is the name it's given us, which is quite nice actually. It does a really good job of this. So this is, what is the civilization slogan? So serving the divine, forging destiny. I like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Although there is a comma and then there's a capital. But anyway, we'll forgive that. So describe the civilization in more detail. In the vast expanses of the cosmos where stars twinkle like distant promises, there exists a faction known as Imperial Ascendancy. These stalwart beings embodying the essence of humanity's boundless ambition proclaim themselves as the devout followers of the God Emperor. They traverse the universe with unwavering resolve, their purpose clear to fulfill a mission bestowed upon them by their divine patron. With every step they take, they inch close. We can always edit this sort of stuff. I can't see all of that one. So in this one in here, we've again got, in the vast expanse of the galactic battlefield, the Imperial Ascendancy stands out as a testament to human resilience and unwavering devotion. They're chosen followers of the God Emperor, bound by the unwielding belief in his divine guidance. So their strengths lies. Anyway, we'll just click on done. That will then be the fleshing out of the text form, which again, really nice, having the AI do that one. And then it will go and search for images. Now, it doesn't generate these images. These are from What DasTactic have done here is actually they've gone and used their own image library over 30 years to then build and train the AI to generate a whole lot of different images. Those images are available based on what's going to happen. Sometimes wildly inaccurate and inappropriate, but anyway, we'll just go and so we'll just go yes and just see what they end up. So it's searching in here, searching through the different images. Then we have a whole range of different sorts of images that they've then sort of created for us to have a bit of a look at through this other side. So these are where we actually have. So we've got more images to browse. We can just have a bit of a look in through this other side, see what else we end up getting. So some of them are going to be interesting. That one sort of looks more appropriate, doesn't it? So if we go and click on that one through there, you can also put your own images in. So that's a portrait. So there we go. So the Imperial Ascendancy. It did randomly pick a logo. Again, you can feed your own in there if you're wanting to. Let's just go and edit this. You can find something fairly appropriate if we can look at it. There's a lot to choose from in here now as well. Like they've kind of, it's just great. That one there sort of is jumping out at me. Done. There we go. So that's the Imperial Ascendancy. And for short, it's just going to be the Ascendancy. There's the descriptions down below. Again, we can sort of go and edit those if we wanted to. The map theme, we've got the Drath. Look, I'll keep the Drath in there, I think. Yeah, why not? And the music Drath theme will be okay, I think, for that as well. So I'm sort of in the way of some of these things. What have we got? Now this has actually gone with a the home world is Divinia. Now these are also preset. It's a barren world. I'm thinking we'd change this, although it sort of would be funny. And the leader's name is the Emperor Seraphus Ravencrown. I love it. Okay, and the ship call sign is ISE, so the Imperial something Imperial Ascendancy, but we can change that if we wanted to. The star system, we can actually go and choose a different star system to then actually have what we have. So everything else that we had set up before is still in here. So by going backwards, it's not as if it builds everything for you, but it gives you a lot of flavor very, very quickly. Now, Cradle, the system that we actually have in through this side, so Cradle is a home system of the Seeing with one perfect class 30 home world. That sounds okay. But I mean, there's so many to choose from in here, and so these are essentially Sol. That's actually the Terran solar system, containing a class 28 terrestrial world with 2 small worlds. That would be sort of appropriate, wouldn't it? Really, let's go that way. Let's go and pick Sol. And so Earth is not going to be a barren world. That is going to be a what should it be? Tropical, perhaps. It's often beautiful worlds, always good targets to colonize. Not always good to turn into a core world, as unusable land is not always plentiful or burial. So these worlds make good targets for colonizers and promote to a core world by being a governor due to their typical high fertility of food growth. Jungle worlds, often uncomfortable to live on, but even the low quality ones, actually, then we've got paradise. Do we make it an amazing world? These make excellent core worlds once you colonize and assign it. Maybe we'll go that way, make it a paradise world. We'll start off there. So this will be, Earth will be essentially that one. Not sure if the others ones come through. Yeah, barren. We definitely don't want barren. Mountainous can be quite difficult to make use of. I think paradise will do, so we'll make it a paradise world. And that's, I think, is where we are. We've just changed the star system is Sol. The home world is going to be Earth, and so we're the Imperial Ascendancy. We'll save the civilization. We're ready to go. It's pretty cool, isn't it? What it can actually do. Yeah, I spent more time with that than what I wanted to, but it's very, very nice. So it's now saving all of these. It's generating, look at conversations and saving custom bits and pieces. So it actually figures out how the flavour of your faction should interact with its environment around it. And so once this has actually been saved, we then actually have like a we can then sort of just continue on and then start the actual game. But this will now be available for future things. So we've now got the Imperial Ascendancy. Should be at the back end, or is it at the top? It's at the top. So here we've got the Imperial Ascendancy is now sort of showing up in this particular area. And there's a description. The citizens are humans. We've got traditional and carbon-based, adaptable warriors, colony ship, flagship. Everything's ready to go, guys. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the game now. So we'll just go next. So now I'm going to change it from easy to normal. I'm thinking that bright is my level, but I'm going to go to normal just so it doesn't get too far away from us. And I'm thinking of playing, I do like the idea of playing in a binary system, even though it's going to mean that it's going to take a bit longer to sort of get in there and do things. But I think we'll play in a tiny galaxy. So we'll play very, very compressed, but with 2 systems. So that will be the way that we play it. I'm going to keep everything else on default. So everything else will just be on default. That's all okay. Just go next. Now it's got between 5 and 7 players. Let's actually just go with the players it's suggesting. So we've got the Drengans, the Yor, the Taurians. So we've got the Aquatics. I mean, we could bring in something else a bit different. The Festran Hunt. These are ravenous and unrelenting. So these are again. There's going to be a few evils and a couple of goods. So we've got the Altarians as well. So we'll pick our way in amongst all of these different things as well to sort of figure out our way through all this, which will be interesting. We'll start the game. So these are the defaults, but we can pick and choose whatever you like. It's so customizable, this game. There's so much you can do. Let's just start the game. Yeah, we saw this in the last episode. I'll play it again. I really do like this a lot. The cutscenes are beautiful. It just gives you a sense of scale and scope of what you're going to be playing in the game and just sort of where you're going to end up going. It's nice. So like they haven't ever had this sense of scale ever in the previous games, but it sort of makes you feel like even you're playing on little hexes and things. It's just gives you a sense of grandeur, which I quite like. And I find that with all of the cutscenes are so much better than they've ever been before. It really is beautiful. So there we go. That's the typical human sort of thing that we actually have through there. And there we are. We're ready to go. The Imperial Ascendancy. So we've already read all this stuff, but there's quite a lot you can sort of see through here as to what's going on. I won't read all of that, but you can pause it and read it if you're wanting to. So serving the divine, forging destiny. That sounds great. So we're on a mission here. Now we've got Divinia back and through this other side. There's a core world. It's a class 28 amazing world. So we're going to have a lot of different things to now talk about. So we can just go through and start to either use the research down the bottom through here and just go through the prompts in the bottom corner. But there is other better ways to do this. So I'm going to go through some tips now, which may change a little bit over the course of the game. Actually, is that Mars there? And so this is not actually the world that we wanted, is it? This is not Earth. It's not Earth as we know it. I think it's gone back. This class 3. I think it's actually renamed the system. So I think this is supposed to be technically Earth. Yeah, there's Saturn. There's Mars. That's technically Venus, I think. That's technically, it's a dead world in through there, which I think is technically Mercury. Divinia it is. Anyway, the Divinia is actually going to be our home world. Now, there's other prompts in through here as well. So what I think I might do is I'll structure exactly the process that I like to go through to actually sort of approach the game, because there are some certain things that you should look at immediately, just in terms of your planning. So let's just go and work our way through those. So what are the first steps that I would recommend that you take when you are playing this incredible game? The first one really is to see what your next move is, and it's mainly going to come down to what you can do in here. I'll spend a bit of time to explain these sorts of things just so you get a bit of a feel for what's going on. One of the prompts you're going to get down in through here, you've got research, you've got a few other ones as well. One of them is going to be what you then build first up inside your shipyard. Now, we've got a choice of colony ship, which is what the game will present to you to go and get. You've got a constructor there as well, where you can sort of start to get resources from within space. You've got a supply ship. You won't need this really until you start to get other colonies. And you've got a probe to be able to then go and look at more in space itself. So let's just click on done for now, and then we'll come back to these in just a minute. You also have other things you can do like treasure hunts and things, but you don't want to be doing that early in the game. So if we're just going to scroll out and just see where we actually are, what's around us. So it's a very, very small area that we're actually in initially. We've got, and what we're trying to do is figuring out what's worth colonizing. And so we're going to be able to get one of our ships, and if we have a look at the actual ships that we have. So we've got an Endeavour through here, which is a colony ship. So we've got one of our colonizers. We actually have a small probe in through this other side as well. Oh, by the way, before we get started, and I showed this in the last episode, and I turned it off by default. Press the G key until you end up with what you want. Now I want to have the grid showing. Now if I go in, it's going to zoom in a little bit. I've pressed it once. Press it twice, it's only going to then sort of show in around the area that I've got, but then disappear when I zoom back out. I'm not unhappy with that, but I can keep on going. I can then make it so that it sort of is only present when we are further back out. Again, only inside when we're further back out, and then we've got it on all the time. I am thinking of leaving it on all the time, just so that you can get a bit of a sense of the scale of the actual game that we're sort of playing in. It also gives you an indication as to what you've spotted and what you haven't spotted, like in the fog of war. So in this case, we've got the probe. Now the probe is really going to be our explorer. I can send it out this way or across this way. This one's nice and close. I think we'll go that way to start with. Oh, there we go. We've already found ourselves a couple of other locations. We've actually got another. This is Divinia 9, so this is around Divinia itself. Now when I click on a star system, it will then show up in through here with the sort of totals of what you're producing and through that side, but also it will give you a summary. Even if you haven't seen the planets, it will then show the planets. We've got 3 planets in through here. We've got Divinia, which is our home world. We've got Divinia 4, which is a class 3 poor world. And again, this one's only got, it doesn't add much to what we can do. A little bit more manufacturing. Then we've got Divinia 9. This is mainly a technological planet, so it's going to mainly sort of just ship back some techs. It's only a poor world, but this is something we'd be wanting to sort of go and grab, in the future. We don't want to be wasting our colony ships on those right away. Then back over here, if I scroll out, you'll sort of notice that this has got like special circles around it, which means that it's actually a higher class planet than what we've seen there before. I can't click on that anymore because we haven't seen that one yet, but we have seen this world. Now this is an excellent class 19 planet, and so this is Zurak 3, and so we don't see much in terms of what it can actually output. But at class 19, it's going to be really, really good for settlement. So we can sort of end up building another core world there ultimately. Now, I'm going to just automatically, I think, send the colony ship out that way. So we've got this is our Endeavour. This is the borders, by the way, of how far the colony ship can then go at this point in time. That will change as we get more tech and as we start to expand. But at the moment, that's actually accessible. These ones ultimately would be by the time we get out there, if we get the right sort of techs. But let's just go this way to start with. In my head, I'm thinking, should I be trying to pick something a bit more central? But really, this is a nice planet, so let's just go that way. So we're going to ultimately use our colony ship initially to go and pick up that particular location. Now, on the colony ship, we actually have some citizens. So if we go and click on that one through there, so these are citizens down through here. This is led by Sarah Kell. So her approval is fairly low at 34%. They've got, now if we have a look at this, fairly average. Their diligence is fairly low at 4. We'll come back and talk about what these are as we sort of get into the actual game itself. But that's not the greatest citizens to be sending off into another world. On our home world, we actually have a group of 5 citizens already, but let's do that when it's time to actually go and have a look at that one. Initially, we're trying to plan where we're going to go and what we're going to be doing in the actual in the system itself. So we've got another group of planets back over here. We've got another 2 planets back out this other side. I'm looking for planets that are close together. None of these are really all that close. They're potentially close enough, but these are definitely close enough. I'm going to go now and use some of my control to use executive orders. And I'm going to go to the middle one here, which is the telescope takeover. And so we're going to look at the telescope and focus on that area of the sky. This will cost me 15 of my control points. So I'm just going to go yes. Now we don't want to spend too much of our control points, but this is essentially going to be we want to just see if there's anything else worth colonizing or grabbing in this particular area. Let's just go and just look into there. Okay, so what we actually see through this side is we've got now seeing the two different sorts of systems in through this other side. If we go and have a look at it, the Sidle has got a poor world, and this has got a class 1, but it actually has very, very good production and wealth. So it's actually worth grabbing, even though it's a really crappy little world. It's a volcanic world. Back over here, we've got some interesting things. We've got a whole nest of these umbral horrors, which you have to be very, very careful of. So we're going to need to fight these ultimately if there's anything around this particular location. So at Argalanga, we actually have one world here, which is a class 1 poor world. It's not great, it's just got a little bit of production value, but nothing much else really. This is a mountainous world. So that is something we can probably just leave them alone, although there is Promethean back over through here. And if we zoom out far enough, we'll then get these sorts of things showing up. So that was not great. We didn't find any great worlds. We didn't really find anything that we want to grab. We do want to grab that Promethean, but we don't have to rush for that one. The fact that we've got one colonizable world right from the very, very start, I'm thinking I'm just going to go straight in now and just build a second colony ship. So I'm just going to go and build the colony ship. That will then show up. I can rush the design, but quite often you're going to be wanting to spend your money wisely. We'll just click on done. And so we'll get that one established. The next thing we want to be doing is, well, we might as well do the tech. That's the first thing that's coming up. So you will be prompted. Now, prior to this version of the game, you did actually have access to your leaders, but we actually don't have them accessible just yet. So we do need to requires a Colonial Leadership Council project. Actually, we could get them. We can get them. Let's talk about the planets first, and then we'll come back, because if we can get the leaders before we do our research, we're going to have more options. So let's just go back in, and I'll show you what I mean. In fact, if we go to research now, we only have a choice of 2. Okay, this one requires the technology minister to actually unlock it. So we'll just click on done. And so it's going to just go with one of them, but we'll come back and change that one. Let's go into the Divinia, and this is actually our core world. Now, there's a few different things in through here. The first thing is, where would you love to have your capital? Because the capital is usually not in a place that you want it to be. Because what the capital will then go and do is it does give you +2 levels to everything around it. So the more central it actually is. So for example, at this location, I'd have access to 5 other groups that will get +2. If I place it in here, I have 5 as well, but we do actually have a dimensional mirror. So this one upgrades this artifact to unlock charges that will reveal a portion of the galaxy. That's something we can do. These are all these give bonuses to manufacturing down through this other side. They're the best spots really. I've got 4 other slots in through this other side, a bit of research, a bit of technology. But that's probably the best one there, is really just going to give me other bonuses with those deserts and these other areas in around it. I mean, that's not bad in here as well. I've got the floodplain. I sort of, in my head, I tend to try to go with... this would make this world into a very, very high-tech world if we actually placed it there. So what we can do, the first thing, what I'm trying to get to is you don't have to accept where the capital city is. If I go and click on it, I can destroy it. It doesn't cost me anything to do this, and it doesn't cost me any, like, people don't get unhappy when you do it. We are literally just moving it around. And so when we come back in, we now actually have the capital city, can be placed anywhere we like. Now, if there was a location that had like a little house on it, actually that one does have the house, this Prometheus stone, but I don't think we can settle on that one. If I go and grab that one and sort of start to drag it across, I can't actually settle on there. But that would give me a boost, ultimately because of the house, to allow me to have extra population. You can see there, when I get rid of the capital city, my population has dwindled from 9 down to 3. But if there was a house, if that one where there was a house, we'd end up with another +1 population cap. So so that can also then dictate what you do. This one here, we've got +3 to manufacturing there. There's a lot to do in here actually. Let's just go and grab the capital city and throw that one into that location. So this is now going to be that sort of more central manufacturing sort of block that we then have. You can see our population has gone back up to 9. So we have now the full choice of which way we want to go with the actual game itself. And so this then maximizes what we then go and do. Now the dimensional mirror, how long is that going to take? 17 turns to do that one through there. So I'm not going to worry about that one. I just wanted to see how much it actually had. We do actually have other bonuses. We get +3 to manufacturing there. If I go and grab the industrial centre, which is probably the next thing I want to be going and building. By the way, that took nothing at all to build. Like that was it. Like we changed it from there to there immediately. It's an immediate thing. We can then get the industrial centre. So getting +3 there. I end up with a +3 there as well. What this one does though, this one gives another boost to manufacturing. So if I go, I'm going to get other choices here. So I don't need to sort of worry too much about this. Let's go and place it there because we'll then make better use of what's in around it. So we can put an extra location in through that side there. Now this is the Colonial, this is the Colonial Leadership Council. This is the one that we require to then go and get the leaders to come back in. So if we just go back across, we can build that one immediately. It's only going to cost me 15 credits, but I might as well get used to that right away. I should have actually shown this at the start. This is actually new to the game. So we need to go and do that. Bang, done. And we've now got this one coming in 7 turns. I could rush that, but I don't have any real need to rush it. So let's just click on done. We want to save our money as much as possible within reason. Now that we've unlocked that colonial area, we now have the choice. We can now go in and look at our leaders and make use of leaders. So we've got 2,485 credits left. Let's just go back into our leaders. And what we're going to be doing in here is then trying to pick out what we want. Now, initially, what we're looking for are typically the Minister of Technology so we can get more tech to choose from, and also the Minister of Exploration, which will then sort of go and allow us to expand deeper. And so these ministers require, so the Minister of Exploration manages our travel to the edge of the galaxy, increases our moves and range based on the diligence of the assigned minister. So that one requires diligence. This one over here, the Minister of Technology, manages the research across our empire, adds an additional technology slot, and increases research based on the intelligence of the assigned minister. And we can see through here, we've already got Samantha Liss, who's come back in, or who's come in, and she's got 10 intelligence. She also has 8 diligence, so she's very good in both of these. She's also got very high resolve. The only thing she doesn't have is social. And the Minister of Colonisation, it's based on their social skill as to what we want to do through there. Let's go back to our recruitment and see what we can get. So we've got, he's the best social. This is Scott Dan. Now, don't worry too much about their loyalty or their lack of loyalty. You know, like it will sort of present negative situations, but nothing you have to really worry too much about. Now, he's got very high diligence, but he also has pretty high social. I think we skip this guy entirely. We use her for her intelligence to put her into technical, and then we use the diligence here with Scott Dan to then work in the Minister of Exploration and through that side there. In terms of the social, it then leaves 5, which isn't great. So let's just go and bring him across. We won't worry about the last one. So we'll just go back into here. So he is going to use his diligence in that exploration. And what this will then do is when we go and place him in that slot there, you'll see there that he then gets a +10 ship range. This allows the ships to move further away. So with our colony ship, for example, in the next turn, there'll be +10 hexes added to the range that they can then move. Plus they get +1 extra movement as well in the next turn. So it's just going to allow them to then move forward. Now, even if he had 1 diligence, it would just mean that we'd have a +1 ship range, but we'd still get the +1 extra. So it's always worth putting one of these in there. Similarly, with the Minister of Technology, when we throw this one in, we'll then see that we've got +1 extra random tech slots, so we get extra tech to choose from, and we have, whatever this amount is, the intelligence is +10% to our research based on that number there. So that's all we need to do there with our people at this stage. So there's nothing much we really need to do. We'll come back and check these out a little bit later on and see if there's anyone else worth grabbing. There certainly are things that they would be good at, but nothing much we have to really worry about just yet. Now that we've done that, if we go back across into our tech that we have a look at, we actually now have 3 to choose from. So we had colonial policies, which unlocks the civilization screen and allows us to assign policies. We do have the universal translator. It's important to get this pretty early. So it allows us to begin communicating with aliens and to use the Galactic Bazaar. I think I might, even though I would love to have this one, I think I'm going to go this way. So I'm just going to go and grab the translator. It's sort of, it unlocks the freighters, it unlocks all sorts of different things. This one here pretty much just unlocks the ability to be able to use the civilization screen, which is important because that's our taxation and so on and so forth. So we will come back to that one, but it looks pretty cheap. Universal translator will be very important as we sort of move through the game. So we'll go that way, 5 turns to grab that one. We then actually have the prompts down here. We've got an idle ship, so we've still got our main discovery ship. Now, it's so important now in the game. In previous games, it was you could sort of use this as an offensive ship or whatever you wanted to do as a scout ship. But it's really important we try to locate artifacts now and survey them, because we get so many different random benefits from doing that. So I'm just going to set this one to automatic survey. It will then just go off and try to find elements it can then. So it's looking around. Actually, there's Promethean or Durantium back in through here. If we can find more of that, that would be pretty cool. All right, so that's all we're doing at this point in time. So we're building the next colony ship. It would be nice to have another probe as well, ultimately. But let's just see where this one's going. I don't need to go all the way, so I might just leave that one there so I can manually control it for the next turn. I'm still trying to find things. Let's just move in a little bit. Now this is a Denora this is a minor world, and so this is actually a group of small independents. They're not going to grow big, but they will ultimately get like a bit of a fleet, and so we can end up trying to take these over. And this is again is a very, very good world, class 22. Quite often when you find one of these, you'll find a good planet that's nearby as well. Let's just go in and see if we can grab this one. We now actually have the hex has now been isolated, so we can now start to see we've got 3 planets in here. Denoria, we've got Zurak 2, this is another class 19, excellent world, requires exotic world colonization though, and then we have Zurak 3, which is the one that we're going to be colonizing with the harmony crystals on board as well. So this is a desert world, but it'll still be okay. So there's another one in there. Now we don't need to see any more of that because we can't make use of it. These have collected together into a small fleet of creatures. It's going to be a bit more difficult to then go and control those. Let's go, now in terms of where we are, that's the edge of the border, that's the border of it there. Let's move down and then across. Just look for more resources back out this other side. And our turn in here. So we've got ourselves an artifact. So this one will now start to look at this artifact. It's just going to keep on scouting around to try to find these. This is our only ship with any sort of offensive capability at this point in time. It's really important that we don't lose it. So we will have to sort of try to keep that one for the duration of the game, really. This is the ISE Discovery. This one's coming back in, so we'll just go into here. Colonize the planet of Zurak 3. Yes, we will. And so we now actually have our first colony. I'll just click on done. And so with this one through here, we then get typically you are going to get like a choice of different ways you can do it. Again, the game has now got this so better than what it had in Gal Civ 3 in particular, where you had different ideological choices. You still have them, but they're so much richer and deeper than what they were. So the intense background radiation of Zurak 3 occasionally causes strange interference patterns in display screens around your colony, and recently these patterns have shown signs of intelligent thought. Your scientists trace the patterns to crystal outcroppings around your colony. Studying this new form of intelligence could open the door to incredible breakthroughs in the understanding of life. On the other hand, those crystals are pretty valuable looking. What are your orders? So you can attempt to communicate with the crystals. Now what this will then go and do, persuasion check, 40% chance of success, which is not great. So we get egalitarianism, cultural awareness is increased to 1. Now I don't know where you can find the total of those things, but it's not a massive increase. +1 individualism trait discount as well, and we get +1 persuasion. Now that's we make use of those in this one over through here, ultimately, I think it's that one. No, it might be this one here. So I should have checked that one. Yeah, I might come back once we do this one. Study the crystals to find out what's happening. So progressivism, cultural awareness increases to 1. So we end up with progressivism trait goes back up that way, and +1 technology as well. Or the crystals are valuable, mine and sell them. We get egalitarianism increases to 1. We get the trait discount there as well, and +20 harmony crystals, which we can then use to make things fairly happy. So we've got 2 that will increase egalitarianism. We get +1 to our persuasion overall as well, which will make our diplomacy a lot easier. But let's go and... which way should we do this one? I think we'll go with the extra technology. So Zurak has been now colonised, and it's now feeding back to Divinia. So Divinia is going to get the benefit of that. And then we'll just double check this. This is cultural progression. Yeah, so I'm in the right spot. This one doesn't allow me to then go and do anything just yet. Just click on done. Wait for more choices. Okay, so they've now moved across into here. We'll just keep this one coming through around the edge. There we go. We're finding Illyrium just on the side of this nebula. We've now got the universal translator for when we meet the others. That will be important, and we can get up to 3 trade licenses with this one. This is a very important one to get. It sort of doesn't seem like it's important, but it actually is. Now we've got colonial practices. This one does unlock the civilization screen. We want to get that one as soon as possible now, so we'll grab that one, just so we can manage our civilization. All right, in we come. Now we do have this one. Okay, we can now see this one here. So we've got this one here. We have 3 different worlds, another independent, so another minor world, so Glormia. We have Alkes 2, which is 16 and excellent. It's got Helios ore on it, and we've got Alkes 3, which is class 30, which is a paradise world. So now what we want to do is we want to go and grab these worlds before anyone else can get them. So where have we got there? We've got, this is the class 30. That's the one that we actually want more than anything. So we're going to go back now to Divinia, and we're going to do 2 things. There's 2 worlds here that we want, and we don't have any more colony ships. So we're going to go in and now rush build the colony ship that's in here. So we'll just go back across and double click that. So this one's coming in 3 turns. Just click on that one through there and rush that one, please. So just by letting it go, now that we've got a target, that's going to be okay. We'll just click on done. We don't want to have colony ships that we're not going to be making good use of. So we've got that one done. We want to get these high value worlds as early as we can as well. The other thing we can do straight away is to go into, again, the executive orders. And we've got these ones. There's no cooldown on getting the colonists, but we can bring colonists in to then grab these other things as well. So it's going to cost me 33 control points. I've got 87 left over, so I can grab 2 of these at this stage. I can grab one of them now. So we'll go and do that. Yes, we will. And so now we have a colony ship off the side of Divinia, and it's coming in with its own citizens. So it's got a group in through here. These are this is Jenna Galish, so fairly low approval, but that's okay. And so this group, I'll send this group off immediately into this other system. So let's just move it across this way. And so we've got the extra movement. We should be able to expand a bit faster than anything else around us. We'll just keep that one coming back out the other way. Here we go. Now, of the 5 citizens that we had back at home, we can now have to use one of these to then ship them off-world to one of the other worlds. So we've got ourselves we've got an entrepreneur, and through this side we've got just a normal citizen, which aren't really specialised. We have a farmer. They'll be fairly important. I should have shown the farming, because this is something you do want to keep track of. But at the moment we've got +14, sharing everywhere, which is fantastic. We don't need anything else to worry with in there. But sometimes when you start the game, you might only have like 3 or 2 food, and you're going to have to get on top of that pretty early. An entertainer that will just give approval on the worlds, and then we've got a worker. So I'm thinking the citizen would be the best one through there. Yeah, this approval 77%, it's not too bad. That'll do. Move that one across. Done. And so we've got 1 citizen. Now here we go. This is the first of our survey ships. Again, the cutscenes are really nice. All right, so we'll just click on done. And now this is the research complete in the colonial policies. This then opens up the colonial tab. We'll just choose new tech. So research districts, armed shuttles, or subspace scanning. Now this also will then say that like our research advisor is recommending we go this way. Now what this one does, improves our sensors and allows us to detect subspace streams, but it also does other things. It unlocks, as the ship range goes out by another +2, the sensor range also goes out by another +2 as well. We do get access to the Promethean drive. We have the Eyes of the Universe project that we can then go and do, and we can then start to see the subspace streams. So these are the connection points between the various sectors in space. So we'll go and grab that one, and then we actually have to choose. Now we have the civilization policies. Now at the moment with our tax rate on medium, we get 77% is pretty good. I don't think we're going to do any real better than that one. We don't have great income at this stage, but that will increase over time. Back in through here, we hardly have any that we can choose from. So we've got coerced colonization. This will then drop our approval. So it'll be a global drop in approval by doing this one, but our growth will go up. So if we need more citizens quickly, we can do that. And we can chop and change these at a whim. So we can do these anytime we like. Land exploitation is going to give pollution of +30%, but we get extra income. At the moment, our income is actually pretty good at 6, so we don't really need to worry about that one, which pretty much just leaves Heart of the Empire. I tend to default to this pretty much. This one here is our homeworld is the core of our civilization and the pinnacle of who we are as a people. So influence and income are only applied to the homeworld. And so now it's saying not all influence and income. It's just saying in this card we get +10% to our influence, which increases our borders, and we also get +10% to our gross income. So at the moment we've got an income of 6.02. If we go and grab that one, throw that one in there, we should see it go up. See a 6.72. So it's gone up a little bit by 10%. So we can sort of see it's, and it would have impacted in through here as well. So this is sort of where things actually are. That's going to be fine. We can tweak this as well with whatever we want to do. The approval is dropped by 2 points, but that's actually okay. It's important to unlock this so we can sort of have access to the tax, because sometimes your tax will be very, very poor and you'll be wanting to move it backwards or make it higher. Like if I go to high, it's going to be 30%. So that's not going to be good enough. That's going to then make it very, very difficult for us to manufacture things and research things. Back in there is fine. We're getting pretty good. If I go back to normal, I get 1 extra in manufacturing, but I get I lose basically what's that, 2 coins, two credits per turn. I'll just keep it on the 75 back in through there. Okay, so that's done. We'll click on done through there. Now the other thing we'll do is we will go and well, we haven't actually settled this one yet. I'll wait till we settle it. We've got this one settled though. So Zirac 3. Now your advisors, we should actually talk about the advisors as well before we finish off this particular session. So we should consider colonising Alkes 3. Yes, we are on the way. Assign a leader to govern Zirac 3. So it's suggesting that Zirac should be made from a colony into a core world, where we actually have someone governing that particular world. Now this one doesn't have any food at all, and you can see we're getting 15 food at the moment, and that's mainly coming from Divinia. And so Divinia's got, well, it's producing 20 food, but the civilians are chomping away at 5 of that. So we've got a heap of food coming from Divinia. That's going to feed our empire essentially. So again, what they've done is they've made it this simplified. Think of it in terms of a board game. They've simplified everything, so it's a global resource for food. It's not as if you're sort of starving off the various areas. Now, if we go and colonize Zirac and actually make it into a core world, one thing you'll notice in through here is the food consumption is -5 at the moment. We then have to feed the people that are here as well. So let's just go and do that one. So we're just going to go across. We need a leader to do this. Now, we're probably going to, if we just click on done for a second, Zirac is a desert world. Let's have a look and see what we know about this particular world. So it's class 19 minutes. It's a very, very good quality class world. It can only support 1 population at this point in time. Its pollution is 11%. Resistance is 0. The planetary defense is 105. So that's actually, that's reasonable. But it's a desert world. Now, if I press shift and then hover over this and just read what it says for desert, I don't know if it'll show us in through there. But typically, a lot of the tiles in this world won't really be usable for much at all, and except for things like manufacturing and research. So we can, and we do actually have harmony crystals here as well. So let's go and make use of this one. This is pretty close to our home world. There's only a 12% decay on this world, but we're only getting like 2 production and 2 research from it anyway. That's often an indication as to what you're likely to find on the actual world itself. But we do know that there's harmony crystals here. We don't have access to them just yet until we make it into a core world. So we'll go and colonize it. So all we need to do there is just go across, or we've already colonized it, but we're just going to go and create a, to get somebody to, as a governor in through this other location. Now, I'm probably going to be wanting the governor to be someone who actually does promote sort of like, probably more, just looking at here, we don't have anyone that's great at technology, but we do have a couple in here like with fairly high diligence. And so for manufacturing worlds, she's pretty good. These aren't bad as well at 7, but she's actually very, very good. She's not too unhappy that she'll go down to 31. So it says here, a leader with a loyalty below 30 is at risk of resigning or attempting to undermine you. It's not immediate, but it's something you have to be careful of. A leader with an extremely high loyalty may offer additional support and help. So the higher their loyalty, the better, of course. But we get 2 extra diligence from here. Now, we'll have other leaders come in as well at different times. Now, her backstory is that she's in part of the natural league, so plus 10% growth when assigned as a governor. That's actually not really important here. The others over through this side, I'm going to avoid him because of his lack of loyalty. This one here, the slumlord, so plus 3 population capacity and minus 6% approval when assigned as a governor. And also this one is plus 10% research and minus 20% manufacturing when assigned as a governor. So this he'd be good on a world that does technology. But in this case, we're probably going to ultimately be doing manufacturing here. So I'll grab her. She's now 333 to go and use her up. So medium level, we've still got a heap of money left over. So but we don't want to push it too much. Now the Emperor is in charge of our home world and will always be in charge of the home world. That's not going to change. So we can't move the Emperor out into other roles. He has to stay where he is, and he usually has exceptional skills. You can see through here. So we're going to move Stephen Jackson across to manage this world. Actually, that wasn't too bad. It only went down by the -10 for managing different bits and pieces. So Zorak has now, the level 19 world, has now become a core world as well. And so I don't know if I can move her back out. Now, once they've been assigned, that's it. So we can do this one. We can fire her or execute her if we wanted to. Let's just click on done. So Zorak is now part of our empire. And we can now just go back in, and in fact, you'll see through here, idle core world. In fact, this is our home world, is now idle. Now we can build this tool in here, which is the capital mainframe, which is going to get our research up. This one over through here is the Heritage Center, which we get because we went with the traditionalist approach when we sort of started the game. So cannot build not enough Promethean. So this one requires 1 Promethean. Now we've got a Promethean. We saw a Promethean on the map there, I think. So we've got one that is accessible to us. We've got Durantium as well, but we don't actually have anything special. So there's a few things we can do. If we want to keep on going with manufacturing, we can. So we can go into the forest, for example, and when we click on that one there, we're getting a +5 to manufacturing at this district. This will then promote the manufacturing even higher on the world. It will also push the pollution up a little bit from 15 to 18. If we have a look at the other things we can do here, this here gives +3 to research, this thriving reef. This one here has got +2 to research with an adjacency level bonus of +2. So we end up with +5 if we move that one into there. So we get 2 plus the extra 3. If I move to there, I only get +1, but I could then go in and build something else in here if I had to, a bit like what we're doing down this other side. It just means that we're going to have more technology that we're going to be able to then place in around here, because this one gives us a +2 level to research everything else around it. So will it be more valuable? Ultimately, we can also then just go and create a research district, which will only change the percentage that we get. It won't actually give us extra research, just the percentage output of the planet. I'm still thinking we go here and then we wait for a special a special item that promotes promotes the actual promotes research. So we'll go with the slower research initially. I don't know if I can actually ditch that one. Actually, no, it's still building. That's okay. I can destroy it right now. If I have a quick look in here, I'm not sure if I haven't tried this. So we destroy that one. We do get a little bit back here, then we have to go back and rebuild it. So it's not like the capital. We can move the capital around, no problem, but we can't do it with the other buildings without it sort of costing us a bit. Okay, so we'll click on done in through that side. And so now this one, we've got a trade coming in from Durantia. So there's some sort of connection coming back into Divinia and through there. I think because it's inside our areas. But yeah, so if we can speak to this little world in through here. Here we go, got cats. So Purin, these are one civilization, but they have many different names and shapes, different colours and sounds. They have different tasks and goals, different skills and talents. This society is highly structured on a caste system. This minor civilization is in our sphere of influence and is trading its resource outputs with us. So it's actually trading with us, which is great. So cool, that's awesome. So we'll end up with a strong relationship with that because it's inside our borders. All right, so we're there. What else have we got? We've got an idle shipyard now. So what are we going to build? We've got the 2 colony ships already now racing off. We know that we're going to need more resources. So I'm going to go and grab a constructor now. It's suggesting we get another colony ship or a probe, but I'm going to get a constructor. So we'll start to build this one in 11 turns. We also have an event that actually happened when we got the survey ship that had finished off what it was doing. Where was it? It was around here somewhere, I think. We'll just have a look and see what the event actually is. And so this one is the survey report. So an intriguing discovery has been made, a device from a long-gone Arnor civilization. Its structure suggests it might be used to enhance the structural integrity of our fleet. Alternatively, its exotic materials could fetch a good price on the interstellar market. So we now have 2 different choices. We have preserve and utilize. We can add the artifact to our vault, which will then make the structure of the fleets go up, or we dismantle and trade, which will just give us essentially 100 in our treasury. I'm definitely going to keep it and put it into the vault. So let's just go and do that. So we now actually have an artifact in the vault, and this artifact is captivating the symbol of the Arnor. Will apply some measure of this permanence to the selected fleet, increasing its hit points by 10% hit points for the actual fleet of whichever one we attach it to, whichever ship we attach it to. So the effect is plus 10% hit points, and it's ready to activate. Now I won't put it on anything yet. We'll just keep that one there until we need to use it. I really like that actually. It's very, very nice. There's another artifact there. We do actually have Durantium in through this other side. So this is probably where I'm going to ultimately just have a look to see if I can find any other Durantium in this particular region. Right, back over here, the shipyard is now idle with this colony ship, and so this colony ship is now going to go back across over to here as well. That one is the class 30. We'll just go and move that one across. And this is Zurak 3. So we now actually have what we can do through here. So the first thing we get, like our home world, we can change and chop and change where the capital goes. And we're looking again, we're getting +1 to all adjacencies in through this side, not +2, but +1. This one does give us the population cap of +1 as well. If we had anything with a little house on it, we'd be able to then go and make use of it. This one here gives +1 to military. Okay, so we've got caverns in through there. This is +3 to wealth. I've got a location in here where we end up with harmony crystals. This is +2 to approvals. And we have +2 to wealth in there as well. So there's a few things in through here, but there's not you can see the planet is not fantastic. So if we go into here, we can build research districts, manufacturing, financial, entertainment, and cultural districts. In through here on the plains, we also have an agricultural district ultimately that we could actually make good use of. So that's actually something we can do. So these can't be built, for example, the agricultural districts can't be built in deserts or mountains. So that's sort of where we are there. But I'm thinking this area in here looks pretty good. It does give us a nice sort of range of things around in here. That there would also be good. That desert would give us the caverns with military, the wealth, plains in through there as well. That would probably actually ultimately be better. They're getting +2 wealth there. I think that gives us most bang for buck. So let's go and throw in this, and this is immediately built. So when we settle, this is exactly where it goes. Then we actually have the colonial generator. And so what this one does is a simple source of power production to increase manufacturing of colonies. This one will give us +2 to manufacturing. And then we also have a supply depot as well, which will give us a percentage boost to things, but we'll also then improve the levels around it. So what we'll do is we'll come back in here, and we get the +1 into this location. We don't have anything else really on the planet itself, on this desert world. And we can also, this is going to be 22 turns to generate this one. Now, I won't rush it. I could actually go and rush the build, but it's going to cost me, actually it's only 150 credits. Let's go and do that, because that will then give us the ability to then have the like the manufacturing be much faster. So let's go and build that one for 150, and then we'll get this one as well, which will then improve other things. Now what we want to do is probably make use of those there. So let's just go and place the supply depot there, which will give me a +2 coming back this way again as well. And then we've got these areas we can then make into manufacturing districts, where we're going to get the +2 in for those on top of all of this. So we'll leave those just at the start. There's 14 turns to grab that one through there. So always make use, if you've got the money, particularly if you're just playing on normal, you're going to have a lot of money at the start. Spend it wisely, but do spend it. Don't just squirrel it away. If you're playing on the more higher difficulties, you're going to have a lot less money to play with. But again, spend it wisely. Usually with your leaders will be important as required. We'll need another leader at least coming back over here with one of these worlds. So we'll sort of figure out what to do there. I think we'll just we'll start to wind this particular session up. Yeah, we're getting close. This one is now the class 16, which is excellent. We have the class 23 there, and with class 30. Now this one has got a lot of good stuff. The crime goes up on this world. Oh, this is a minor world. That's we can't access that one. We've only got these really that we can actually have any sort of impact on. Now I'm a bit thankful that we haven't come across anyone else just yet. We'll move that one across to this other world and move forward. Oh, here we go. And we found ourselves some antimatter in there around this black hole. That's on the edge of space, I think. Yeah, we've got a little bit more over this way. There may be another one that we want to get as well. So this particular world, we've got this one coming back in to grab this class 30, which is a paradise world. This one here is a tropical world. It's got Helios ore, so we'll probably want to make both of these into core worlds ultimately. Okay, colonized planet Alkes 2, yes. So here's our report. So your geologists have come across an incredibly rich vein of rare minerals that could dramatically increase the economic output of Alkes 2. Unfortunately, accessing them will release toxic gases trapped in the planet's crust. The colonists asked for these minerals to be left alone. What are your orders? So we'll follow their request. This one brings individualism increases by 2. And if we do this one here, we get progressivism increased by 2. This is you can do what you can to extract the minerals safely. We're doing extra wealth. Wealth is not really a big problem for us. We're doing extra pollution. Mine at all. So rare minerals are rare in the way that people aren't. And in this case, we just get +2 wealth. I don't think we'll worry about that wealth. I think we'll go back this way. We'll just go back and grab that one through there. So we can assign a governor again to this area, which we probably will. But let's just leave it there for now. Shipyard is... Oh, here we go. This is another class 20, sorry, which is excellent. And a class 2, so we have a better look at this one through here. And we've got Promethean in there as well. That's a nice one to try to get hold of. Here we go. We've actually come across the Tolians. So now I might leave it here, and then we'll talk to these guys. Yes, well, this is actually... so I'll leave this episode here, I think. So you've nothing to fear, no intention of making you slaves today. There we go. We're skeptical about becoming open friendly, or we're reasonable and open to new deals. So it opens the trade. I am open to trade with these guys. This is actually a good one for us to find initially. Now, we don't really have anything we can do in this point in time, so I'm just going to go and just click on done. So we won't actually trade anything just yet. But knowing that they're there, we'll try to be friendly with them if we can. Now, they'll probably grab this world, I would think. Do we find? I think that they're there. Subspace scanning is now just got that particular tech. We've got research districts. We've got armed shuttles. We don't need those just yet. This one here is going to give our ship range a +4. But we'll go research districts so we can start to research a bit better. So that's actually one of their probes. So they're here at the same time that we are. But I think they're going to grab this before we can. Well, I think what we'll do actually, just to make use of this, let's go and grab... Oh, hang on, no, there is a cooldown there. So still 4 more months for that one there. So we'll wait until we can actually grab that one. Idle core world. So we've got the core world idle back in through this other side. We're getting extras to research back into that other side. Initially, we set this one up, the capital mainframe. I'll be wanting to get an actual building here. That's the Heritage Centre and then the Eyes of the Universe, which does culture points. And this one requires Promethean, 3 Promethean for that one there. Let's just go and grab ourselves a research district. So we're getting +3 research in through there. So this will give, this will just improve our research output on the world. Here we go, colonise this planet, yes. So here we go, a strange fungus on Alkes 3 has begun infecting our colonists with an illness that is immune to our medicine. Although our doctors can treat the symptoms easily enough, they have no hope of finding a cure and the risk of contagion is high. With this disease afflicting us, our colony will never see its full growth potential. Some argue that we should cull the diseased to protect the rest of the colony. Others, notably the diseased, argue against this. What are your orders? So don't cull anyone, even if we never find a cure, we won't become monsters. So this one here, colonists become plagued. So individualism increases to 3, minus 50% tourism. The tourism doesn't worry me so much. Quarantine the people who have disease and prevent them from reproducing. So equality, cultural awareness increases to 1, collectivism, trait discount, tourism goes down and growth goes down for 50 turns. That's not terrible. Cull them, our descendants will thank us for having the courage to do this. So totalitarianism, this is more the style that we actually chose for ourselves. So I think we'll make the choices more on the role play for our faction. So totalitarianism, cultural awareness increases to 2, and we also then get the trait discount there as well. So +1 intimidation. That for me is who we're playing. So I think we'll have to go that way, even though it's not one that we probably would really go and do. So we'll go and get that one. Okay, so here we go. This is a good way to finish it off. We've got the GNN, the Galactic News Network. So this comes up every so often, which is quite nice because it just every so often it will just give you a bit of information about where you stand in the galaxy about one particular aspect. Now you've got access to this anyway, but it's just nice to have the reminder. So it's this one here, venture into the world of groundbreaking discoveries as we reveal the top 5 galactic civilizations leading the charge in cutting-edge technology and pushing the boundaries of the known universe. Now, there's only 5 in the whole game, so we're looking at all 5. Now, we are right at the top. Imperial Ascendancy is the most innovative, so innovators of the cosmos. So we're doing the most research at this point in time, which is great. So not that it matters much in this early stage, but that's actually what's happening. Close that one off. And we are ready to go. So we've got research districts now completed as well. I think we'll leave it here, guys. Actually, we've got improve the movement speed by 1. Let's go and actually, if we get the armed shuttles, I keep on just wanting to play one more turn all the way through. I do want to get starbase modules. Let's go with armed shuttles. That way we just get it out of the way. This is all good stuff. We now got more coming back home again as well. We will be wanting to put a governor there, but we'll do that in the next episode. We still have one more artifact that's come through as well. So your flagship discovers an ancient artifact, a mysterious object imbued with immense power. This artifact can either be harnessed to provide a massive energy spike for our shipyards or used to generate an aura of euphoria on a target planet, uplifting the mood of its inhabitants and providing a temporary boost to productivity. So channel the artifact's energy to temporarily enhance manufacturing on our worlds, or secure the artifact in the vault for later use. Now, what does it do? Provide a massive energy spike for our shipyards, or used to generate an aura of euphoria on a target planet. I think we need. So it's only for 20 turns. I think we'll use the artifact. I do tend to like having these things. So this one here is increase the approval of the target world by 10% for 25 months. creates a sustained sense of satisfaction and contentment amongst the inhabitants. It's not fantastic. I should have gone the manufacturing with what we did. This is actually one of the worlds. This world has got this particular ship in through here, a frigate that it's got sort of protecting the world. We do actually have Durantium in through there as well, which we can ultimately mine. Can't do it just yet, but we will eventually. And we have the antimatter there as well. There's a few things for us to consider and look at. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next exciting episode where we sort of continue on.